Welcome to the world of movies. Whether you're a diehard film buff or simply a casual viewer, there's no denying the impact that movies have had on our culture, our society, and our personal lives. For over a century, movies have been a source of entertainment, inspiration, and education, captivating audiences with their unique stories, memorable characters, and powerful messages. In this video, we'll be exploring some of the greatest movies of all time. From timeless classics to modern-day blockbusters, we'll take a look at the top-ranking films that have earned their place in the pantheon of cinematic greatness. We'll examine the genre, year of release, box office takings, and the stars that brought these movies to life. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and join us on a journey through the greatest movies of all time. Let's dive into the world of film and discover the magic that makes each one a true masterpiece. 1. The Shawshank Redemption, 1994, starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. The Shawshank Redemption is a 1994 drama film. With a budget of $25 million, the film grossed over $58 million at the box office and received critical acclaim for its powerful storytelling and outstanding performances by the cast. The movie follows the story of a banker named Andy Dufresne, who is wrongly convicted of murder and sent to Shawshank State Penitentiary. With the help of a fellow inmate named Red, Andy learns to navigate life in prison and eventually orchestrates a daring escape. 2. The Godfather, 1972. The Godfather is a 1972 crime film directed by Francis Ford Coppola and starring Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, and James Caan. The film follows the Corleone family, a powerful mafia dynasty, as they navigate their way through the world of organized crime in New York City. With a budget of $6 million, The Godfather grossed over $245 million at the box office and received widespread praise for its iconic performances, masterful storytelling, and direction. 3. The Dark Knight, 2008. The Dark Knight is a superhero film released in 2008, directed by Christopher Nolan and starring Christian Bale as Batman, Heath Ledger as the Joker, and Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. With a budget of $185 million, the film grossed over $1 billion in box office takings and received critical acclaim for its dark, brooding atmosphere and outstanding performances, particularly Ledger's haunting portrayal of the Joker. The Dark Knight explores the ongoing battle between Batman and the Joker as they play a deadly game of cat and mouse in the streets of Gotham City. 4. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Pulp Fiction is a crime film released in 1994, directed by Quentin Tarantino and starring John Travolta, Uma Thurman, and Samuel L. Jackson. With a budget of $8 million, the film grossed over $214 million at the box office and received widespread praise for its innovative storytelling, memorable dialogue, and outstanding performances by the cast. Pulp Fiction is a darkly comedic take on the world of crime, weaving together multiple storylines into a non-linear narrative that captivates audiences from start to finish. 5. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, 2003. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King is an epic fantasy film released in 2003, directed by Peter Jackson and starring Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, and Viggo Mortensen. With a budget of $94 million, the film grossed over $1.1 billion in box office takings and received widespread critical acclaim for its stunning special effects, masterful storytelling, and unforgettable performances. The film is the final installment in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and follows the story of Frodo Baggins and his journey to destroy the One Ring and defeat the evil Sauron. 6. Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, 1977. Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope is a science fiction film released in 1977, directed by George Lucas and starring Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher. With a budget of $11 million, the film grossed over $775 million at the box office and launched one of the most successful and influential franchises in movie history. The film follows the journey of Luke Skywalker as he joins forces with Princess Leia, Han Solo, and a rogue band of rebels to defeat the evil Empire and restore freedom to the galaxy. 7. Forrest Gump, 1994. Forrest Gump is a comedy drama film released in 1994, directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, and Gary Sinise. With a budget of $55 million, the film grossed over $677 million at the box office and received widespread critical acclaim for its heartwarming story, outstanding performances, and innovative visual effects. The film follows the life of Forrest Gump, a slow-witted but kind-hearted man, as he unwittingly finds himself at the center of some of the biggest events of the 20th century. 8. The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. The Silence of the Lambs is a psychological horror film released in 1991, directed by Jonathan Demme and starring Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, and Scott Glenn. With a budget of $19 million, the film grossed over $272 million at the box office and received widespread critical acclaim for its suspenseful storytelling, outstanding performances, and masterful direction. The film follows FBI trainee Clarice Starling as she teams up with infamous cannibal Dr. Hannibal Lecter to track down a serial killer known as Buffalo Bill. 9. The Matrix, 1999. The Matrix is a science fiction film released in 1999, directed by the Wachowski siblings and starring Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, and Carrie-Anne Moss. With a budget of $63 million, the film grossed over $456 million in box office takings and received widespread critical acclaim for its innovative storytelling, stunning special effects, and iconic performances. The film explores a dystopian future where humanity is enslaved by a powerful artificial intelligence known as the Matrix and follows the journey of Neo, a hacker who discovers the truth about the world and joins the fight to free humanity. 10. Titanic, 1997. Titanic is a romance disaster film released in 1997, directed by James Cameron and starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. With a budget of $200 million, the film grossed over $2.2 billion in box office takings and became the highest-grossing film of all time for over a decade. The film tells the story of the ill-fated voyage of the Titanic through the eyes of Jack and Rose, two passengers who fall in love aboard the ship as it sinks into the icy waters of the North Atlantic. 11. The Lion King, 1994. The Lion King is an animated musical film released in 1994, directed by Roger Ellis and Rob Minkoff and featuring the voices of Matthew Broderick, James Earl Jones, and Jeremy Irons. With a budget of $45 million, the film grossed over $968 million in box office takings and became one of the most successful and beloved animated films of all time. The film follows the story of Simba, a young lion prince who must reclaim his rightful place as king after his uncle Scar takes over the Pride Lands. 12. Saving Private Ryan, 1998. Saving Private Ryan is a war film released in 1998, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, and Vin Diesel. With a budget of $70 million, the film grossed over $481 million in box office takings and received widespread critical acclaim for its powerful storytelling, outstanding performances, and masterful direction. The film follows a group of American soldiers as they embark on a dangerous mission to find and bring home Private James Francis Ryan, a soldier whose three brothers have been killed in action. 13. The Terminator, 1984. The Terminator is a science fiction film released in 1984, directed by James Cameron and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Michael Biehn. With a budget of $6.5 million, the film grossed over $78 million in box office takings and became one of the most influential and iconic science fiction films of all time. The film follows the story of a cyborg assassin sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, the mother of the future leader of the human resistance against the machines. These are just some of the top-ranking movies of all time, each with its own unique story, genre, and box office success. From the heartwarming Forrest Gump to the thrilling The Terminator, these films have entertained, inspired, and captivated audiences for decades. Whether you're a fan of action, drama, comedy, or sci-fi, these films are sure to be some of the most memorable and impactful cinematic experiences of all time.